Marina. It's so nice to see you today. How are you?
Yes, I'm very good. Thank you. You?
I'm very good too. Thanks for agreeing for this interview. And I
Oh,
remember
my pleasure.
you said you really love Russia.
I
Um,
love Russia. I love Russian culture. I love the landscapes. I love the people, the humor, and the vodka and the food. Very
that's
important.
fantastic. And you also said, I remember when we were talking on the phone, that you have already been to St. Petersburg.
Yes, I was very lucky to have a big concert actually in Capella with very good orchestra. And it was an exchange with some Russian singers and some French singers. They came to Paris to have a concert with us, and we went to St. Petersburg to have another concert with them. So it was a beautiful exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the opportunity to see Hermitage and some other very important places, but I didn't see everything I wanted. So I was so looking forward to come back and try some new places. Especially, I wanted to see Abbey and several churches that I heard were beautiful. So next time.
Next time for sure. And we look forward to welcome you back at the festival.
Thank you.
Speaking of Russia and Russian language, I think you love it, and I think you are studying. Is that right?
Yes, I during the lockdown period in France was 2 months. I thought it's the good time to learn Russian because I actually sing quite a lot in this language. I sang already Olga in Onegin and Fyodor in Boris Godunov. And I really love the language, and I love this music. And I think there are so many beautiful roles for mezzo. So it's taking me so much time to learn because it's only phonetics. And I really don't like to sing phonetics because I need to understand what I'm saying. I need to know when the word begins, when it keeps on, in order to give colors, intention. And so I was very frustrated. Took me a lot of time for just one little area because I just had to remember sounds. And I thought I have to learn this language. And also because every time I meet so nice colleagues from Russia, and I think this language is just so beautiful. So I took the time in France. Now every day I have a little Babel lesson. It's so hard, but now I'm starting to read Russian properly.
Wow.
Now I need to understand all the rules, and this is going to take so much time. And I'm going to have a private teacher now because I can't, I need to know now. I need to understand all your different cases. So it's going to be long, but I'm very happy.
And it's very good for the brain. You mentioned Boris Godunov. I think it's a very intense opera. What do you like particularly about Boris Godunov?
I really like the character of Boris. I mean, as I understood it, because I like the duality in one character. I like to see two faces. This is so interesting to watch and to act as a singer. And the fact that he was such a tyrant, I mean, in a way that he made a little child killed because it was a competitor of himself. And at the same time, he's a very loving father, and he's not a bad Tsar. So this craziness he has, this madness, these remorses he has, that he made he ordered this killing of this young Tsarevich, and at the same time the love he has for his kids. I think it's so deep and interesting, and the music, and I think it's very, very a beautiful piece. And for me, this is so Russian. I don't know how to explain, but it's typical Russian, like those this the duality,
the kind of strong person, and in front of everyone, and the caring and loving and actually very sensitive human being behind.
Sensitive but tough, and crazy but sane, and the melancholy and the expressivity of the feelings. This is maybe what I relate the most to Russian culture and music and literature also.
Yeah, it's got good sides and both sides, I guess. Also,
yes, no, that's
very,
for sure.
very diverse. So, coming to St. Petersburg would have been a performance live on stage. But currently we're all living under the rules of quarantine, with slowly restrictions, getting softened. but still most of us, and especially musicians, are in their homes. They don't have a place to perform. And especially you kind of opened a discussion regarding live performance on Instagram, and you were quite active in doing it almost every day with a harp, with a guitar, with another singer, with a piano, you know, always using the time to perform something to people, but then at the same time not really considering it as a performance where you have to be paid for. So perhaps you can elaborate a little bit.
Yes, I was, you know, I think it's a special moment. It's an exceptional time. And I thought I am lucky enough at home to have a guitarist, a pianist, and to be a singer, which means not like a conductor like my brother. I can keep on doing my job somehow. And not only my job, but my passion, the reason why I wake up in the morning. So I thought the main danger of those 2 months of being locked down in France was to stop singing because of no motivation. And voice is like for a sportsman, his body. We need to keep it warm. We need to keep the endurance, and we need to find the motivation. So for me, it was very natural to do those little collaborations with the application a cappella, with other singers, with other musicians from different styles, not only classical music, but jazz and pop and chanson and folk music. And because those are times we need to share, we need to stick together, we need to create. And also I did some live concerts from my living room with karaoke or with guitar. And I did it usually for donations for funds like Corona funds and stuff like that. And I found it important because this is also why I do this job, is the sharing. It's keeping the people escape from their everyday gray routine and maybe give some beauty to those very hard times. And of course, for me, it was absolutely not a performance as it would be with a beautiful place, a camera, a high definition image and sound. So I was very surprised when I received some messages from colleagues saying like, hey, you should not do this for free, and you should be paid for that. And I was like, well, of course I understand the fact that we need to be paid now because we are losing our job, we are losing so many contracts, and this is something I'm very aware of. But I'm not going to ask to be paid if it is for a living room concert with my phone. And you know, this is absolutely not a good quality enough for asking to be paid. And I think those times where we were all locked in our rooms or flats or house were the times of solidarity. And I saw that many big chefs put recipes online for free, many yoga app were for free, many I don't know, comedians put some sketches and made people laugh every day on their Instagram for free. And why should we musicians suddenly ask to be paid to do the same thing? It was a special, exceptional time. And in those exceptional times, we need to do things for free. We need to stick together and share. And then now that we can go out a bit and we can start to create things outside, of course I will ask to be paid for streaming. But that was a different thing. And I was a bit shocked, and at the same time it was showing, and it was relevant to say it because it was showing the fact that many artists and singers are afraid that the public will just forget them, that the public will get used to see things for free at the TV on all those channels, streaming operas. And I'm not afraid. I trust my public. I trust my followers. I know that when we will be able to go back to opera houses and theaters and concerts, they will be there, and they will prefer 1,000 times a live performance of good quality than a film from your house with your phone that is lasting 20 minutes. I'm sure of this. And actually, I see it already because in Switzerland, some concerts started again, and it was sold out. Like everyone wanted to come to see these concerts. And this is showing that we should not be worried. In the contrary, we should keep the contact and the relation with our public during those times. And this is why I did all I did. And I did it with pleasure and joy and simplicity.
It's great. I saw that you might be performing at this Swiss festival in an open car cinema drive-in.
Yes, that's such a good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
Such a good idea of It's my friend Marie-Claude Chapuis. She's a mezzo, very famous. And she had this idea that we should copy the American cinemas where people were going open air and staying in their car with their popcorns and drinks and watching an open air movie. And we can do exactly the same with classical music and with actually any kind of music. So basically, it will be happening on a giant parking in the middle of the mountains, where usually people go to ski, and people can come with their car. They tune in the radio, and we are live in front of them with a giant screen behind so that everybody can see. And we perform, and they can hear the good quality sound on their car, or not on the car, putting the windows down and just listening. They stay in the car, and then they can have a movie. And it's very good because, of course, with the corona times, then we have no problems of social distancing. And I think it's a fantastic idea. And of course, I have already many ideas of how to involve the cars, like, maybe to make them all play with their lights in one point of the music.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm imagining it's going to be so fun. I just can't wait.
You should really do. I'm
Yeah.
going to try and come. I mean, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, you should come. And I hope that it will be live streamed, because I think because we have already cameras on radio part of the project, so then it could be really cool.
She was one of the first people generally to do something, to make a statement.
Yeah.
Not just in Switzerland, Europe. Really.
Yeah. I'm so shocked that I can't understand why those big houses are so paralyzed. Like, I mean, okay, we had a shock. It was a hard one. And for some, they are losing many ways to earn money. And I understand that. But this is also the moment that everybody should be creative. I see many little houses being so creative and proposing recitals, operas, but just with piano and very reduced staging. And I mean, we could do so many things, but we need the big houses to lead and show the way. And now I see that things are starting to reopen, and San Carlo in Napoli, and some festivals, I think, in Orange, and and Zurich also is opening again. And I think this is a very good sign. And I really hope that I can be involved in some ways, because I have many ideas.
Yeah, no, I can see. But I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. You said, I think part of you having many ideas is because you are not just classically trained singer, but in your background you have many different things, like, for example, being a singer in a metal band for many years.
Yes.
8 years, right?
Yeah, almost 8 years.
Almost 8 years.
And yes, I was trained. I mean, my background, the main one, is classical music, because my parents are both musicians. All my brothers and sisters are also classical musicians. But somehow I wanted to do something else, or to try. And so I did metal, and it was really nice. It was kind of melodic metal. So there is a line you can sing, but also I was screaming, growling. We say it's saturated voice, and we recorded several albums. We did many tours, and I really enjoyed this experience a lot. Gave me some special talent, and also the love of the stage, and the love of this expressivity that you can have on stage, and the contact with the audience that I reproduced when I started my first classical recital. I had no idea that it's not something you do. And I was like, so everybody's having a good night. And imagine the classical public was like, who's that girl? And they were like shy, but then they got into it. And now I spoke to them the whole concert. And then my pianist was like, this is so unusual. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, we never do that. I was like, this is so weird. I thought it was normal. And that's now how I do. I always do it, because I think it's time that we shake a bit the opera and the classical world. And I trained my voice in pop music, in chanson, in jazz. And I think it's a good school, because then I have many possibilities to change my voice colors. And I'm very versatile, and I use all this background I have, all those different communities, music that I explored, to create very special recitals that are more like shows, where I am making a little staging. All my musicians are characters in the story. So it's very entertaining, and I'm singing. Usually half of the concert is very classical, and then the other half is more crossover with jazz, with chanson, even some slam. And it really works, and people really love it, because we need to open a bit those borders and to have a new public. And so these recitals are attracting all the kind of people, and this is what I really love. So yeah, I'm very happy.
You also need it as a balance, because if you always sing according to rules of directors in an opera house, and you're trying to get yourself up, and then you always feel like you need to do this way and that way, at least you have something where you can really express your creativity.
Exactly, because in the opera you do what the stage director wants, what the conductor wants. It's a very interesting job, and you have a tiny bit of freedom. But when I am doing a recital, I just do what I want. I choose my songs, I choose my story, I create something. I never do a recital just with piano and me standing. This is for me done. I'm never gonna do that. I feel like stuck. So I always try to create new things. And I'm very lucky that in Switzerland, at least where I started and where I studied, they really support me for that. So almost every year there is one festival giving me a free card, and I do whatever I want. And this is such a luck to feel supported by your country, and to feel that the opera world and the classical world, at least in some country, is ready for a change, is ready for something new, for the young singers to propose something that is different. So I hope I can bring this to Russia, to Germany, and other countries like that.
Yeah, for Russia it would be really good, because we're all very serious.
You think they are ready?
Well, I think so, because just now also Theodor Kurensis and Musica Eterna moved to St. Petersburg. They are developing the House of Radio, and they are doing incredible podcasts, incredible talks with people, incredible installations in the radio house. It's a new
this is so cool.
Absolutely trendy. Like, people are just in awe of all of this. It's kind of this industrial style, like a bit
nice
goth
wow
elements, with
that's for me,
things like that. That's absolutely for you, really.
I have to see that.
At the same time, it's still preserving the sacrality, the kind of spiritual
of course
music in it. But yeah, that there are things, but of course also with like things, relaxing the audience a bit would be well.
I think it's that's also for me very important, that we should not break the bound between the public and the classical music. So even when I do those a bit original shows and recitals, I always keep at least half that is very classical, and when I do classical music, I do it very properly. Like, I respect the text, I respect the style, I respect the music. And I think if I am doing both styles, like classical and crossover, in a very high level, at the best level I can, I have a legitimacy to do this. And this is for me super important. And that's why, in order to give something new, we have to integrate the old and the sacred inside. This is really what I believe. And I always do it, because if I would just come with a crazy program, I would not reach neither the classical public nor the more modern and contemporary one. So I think it's important.
Very, very true. So most recently, I think it was in 2019, you were invited to go to London, and you prepared, had a wonderful dress, and enjoyed the fact that you were attending this big award ceremony. And you did not expect that at some point during that evening, your name will be announced.
No, I was like chilling, ready to just clap for the winner. And really, I even never prepared any speech, because it was obvious for me that, first of all, I was already so honored and lucky to be in the nominated names. Mm-hmm. That was already for me a best young singer of the year. Being nominated amongst all the singers in the world was like, wow. So I was so sure that it's not going to be me. And I was sitting like really good comfortable in my seat. And then it was me winning. And I was like, what? And I was like, oh, damn it, I even didn't prepare anything to say, you know, that because really, now I always laugh because when I watch the Oscar and all those big ceremonies, I'm always like, yeah, you didn't know it. But now I know it's true. Sometimes, you know, it's true. You cannot know it. And I really didn't expect it. So yeah, I was so happy.
It's the Mazars Award, or how do you pronounce it, the full name of this award?
International Opera Awards. Mazar is the sponsor.
Mazar is the sponsor. Okay, yeah, just so to give a reference. Yeah, no, but that's fantastic, and I guess you know, sometimes these awards can give you a big boost if you just had a competition, or we're going through many competitions, you know, where you received criticism of so and so and positive feedback of so, and then you come back and you're like, well, where am I actually? And then suddenly you're nominated for an award, and I think that's just like sometimes even more important than any competition, because it's just about you and what you did in this
because this is a selection of many journalists, many people. It works like this, that apparently the whole year people give names, like it can be the public, it can be journalists, it can be directors, and if your name comes up like so much, the more your name comes up, the more you are nominated. So it means that my name came up a lot, and I'm just at the beginning, so I was so surprised and very moved, and this is the best recognition. And as you say, I did many competitions. I won some, I didn't win anything in some others. And recently, before that award, I just was in final of Operalia, one of the biggest, if not the biggest competition. And I got some very weird feedbacks that were very tough on me, such as you are too old, or you are too cold. Because you're Swiss. I heard that from a very famous.
People who are watching this interview will definitely not believe that.
No, nobody believed it when I said it. It was like, cold, like
no way.
Too old. Well, you know, I was 32, and they said I'm too old to sing Rossini, which is like such. Okay, anyway, okay, it can be your belief, but too cold, and especially the racist thing to say, like, but that's because she's from Switzerland. That is so mean, and that is so untrue, and that was hurting. That's hurting because it's hurting your core, it's hurting who you are.
They forgot your Italian heritage, by the way, just mentioning.
By the way, yes, and actually I'm just 1/3 Swiss. I'm much more French and Italian. But
exactly.
Anyway, I was like, I mean, it took me, it was hard, but then it taught me something, that I saw the competition. I saw myself from far away on stage. I saw myself filmed from close. And I saw that if you sit in the last row of the opera house and you watch me, you don't see my face. So I can look cold because I'm not moving a lot, because we were told not to move at all. Mm-hmm. And I don't like arm stuff. So I'm not doing this and this. This is not my stuff. I do everything with my face and my emotions. And so I thought, maybe this is why I seemed cold to them. And so now I know that when I'm doing an audition in an opera house, I always do a bit more than than before. I do a bit of arms because it was hard, but then I thought, why do they say that? And then I saw the video and I thought, okay, they went very far, and they just saw a red dress and a girl singing. And because this area is very technical, there's not so much emotions maybe coming out of it. So wrong area and wrong attitude, wrong behavior on stage. So that's a good lesson for the singers watching me right now, and you, that they have to do a bit extra drama on stage to be not considered cold.
Yeah, good point.
Lesson learned. But then to have this award few months, like 3 or 4 months later, was a revenge for me. And I was because it's really hurt, you know. It hurts when you sang very well and you didn't get any prize. That's already one thing, but then you get these feedbacks. Of course, also I got very good contracts after this competition and very positive feedbacks, but those ones were coming from very high ranked directors, and I was like, okay, that hurts. But yeah, we are stronger later on.
Exactly. And I think in this business you need to be strong, so it's a good lesson.
Oh yeah. Yes, it was.
I think one of the competitions that really supported you, you mentioned, was a Geneva competition.
Yes, and Geneva competition is very special. First of all, because the recital the program you have to do is very long, because you have 4 rounds, and in one round, the semi-final, you have to do a recital of half an hour or 40 minutes, I don't remember, where you sing whatever you want. So you can really show all your qualities or defects also, because you have to sing, I think in total it's more than 2 hours, the whole competition, if you go to the final. So it's very long, and when you are a young singer, you don't have such a long repertoire. So basically I sang everything I knew in this, but I was smart to build it up, and I just got the 3rd prize, but that was already very nice. And what is very special about this competition is that later on, when you have won a prize, any prize, they become kind of an agency for you. And they will always, even after 10 years, even right now for me, and it was already 4 years ago, I think, they are still proposing me concerts and special projects. And they keep on finding jobs for you. And they know who you are. For instance, they know I like these original projects. And so when they have a request of something special, they will always ask me. And they will find for me very good contracts. And so it's a very big relationship. For instance, now during this Corona times, they wrote us if they could help us in any way, what was our experience and how could they support us. And I was very moved, because I was like, wow, this is already 4 or 5 years ago, and they are still preoccupied of my well-being as an artist and as a person.
That's amazing.
So it's very dear to me. Yeah, it's very dear to me. They also organized workshops for us with agencies, labels, and directors, and we had a training of 1 week about our image, our marketing, how to sell ourselves, how to have a website if we need a website, Instagram, CD. Oh, it was so interesting and so useful. We should all go through this process, because our job is a lot about that, or our days.
Yeah, it's a lot of visuals, online marketing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and the last point I wanted to ask you is, would you advise, well, basically you started singing a bit later, but would you advise young kids, if they really want to pursue singing, first to learn an instrument, like a flute or like a horn, I mean a French horn or a saxophone, just so that they can build up their vocals muscle strength? I don't know how you call it, but just know what I mean, just to prepare themselves, not to rush into anything too fast.
Yes, I would definitely advise that. But at the same time, we are in a society where being young sells a lot. So I don't think it's a good idea, because I think the voice needs time. We need time to develop in a proper, healthy way. And we see it a lot, those very young singers that are big talents, they are singing too soon, too many stuff, and then after 2 years they are broken. That's it for them. It's the end. And then they have nothing else in their life. They're 24 and it's already done. Or worst case is you go to the conservatory at 16, you finish at, 19 or 21, and nobody wants you because you are too young, because opera houses won't hire someone of 21 years old. And opera studios, maybe if you are lucky, and then what do? You wait 3 years that you have the good age, and what do you do in the meanwhile? You have no job, you have no... So I studied, maybe I was a bit late, I was 25 almost, but I think it was the best moment, because also I had the security that I had studied not only another instrument before, I studied the flute, which, by the way, I think it's amazing to have done instruments before, because for the flexibility of your brain, the reading of the notes, the breathing technique, for me, the fact that I can see all those coloraturas so fast because of the flute, I see all those notes and I know how to sing them. So this is a big help. But also the fact that I studied other things before, and I had a diploma already when I started singing. I had a master in philosophy and literature that allows me to be a teacher if I want later. So this is like a safety net, and it's very important, because it gives you the peace that you can try to be a singer, and if it doesn't work, it's okay, you have something else, and it's not the end of the world. And it gives you this distance also, and the fact that you know what you are, what you need, what you don't want. For instance, an agency that will tell you, you should sing Carmen right now, and you just started your career. You're like, if you are not mature enough, you can say yes, and then you will break, and people will say she was too young. So, or not, it depends on your voice. But if you know yourself well, I think for that you need a bit of age. And I'm very actually happy that I started later. So I would advise to do another instrument and to maybe even study something else, and to start around 20, 22 and not before. But that's, again, depends on everyone, on the culture, on the, for instance, in Vienna, where I started, nobody wanted me because I was 24, almost 25. And they were like, you are too old. Imagine if I would just have been like, okay, and I would never be here right now.
Yeah.
But I chose to listen.
Okay, that's amazing. It's good that you did that. Well done. I think our time is up. And
yes, unfortunately,
I thank you so much
I have to
for
teach.
your time, and enjoy your teaching lesson with other people.
Yes, I love it. I love to teach singing, by the way. So if anyone is interested, I still have some little spots. And it's a super experience. It's teaching myself a lot to teach other singers. And I don't have the pretension to be the next big teacher, but I have very good tricks to help for some little technical problems, and also for the bel canto style. And I enjoy it a lot, and it's very rewarding. So I'm happy.
Thank you so much, Marina. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for your kindness and your nice questions. And I hope we see the Russian public very soon. And in the meantime, we keep in touch through the social medias.
We keep in touch. Bye-bye.